how
Did you grow up here?
Yeah,
in
well,
Galesburg?
between Monmouth and Galesburg, so I pass by my old house every time I come this way.
Nice.
Yeah, I grew up in the country.
But so what do you think? Since I like get to A to Z, you know, how do you feel you landed where you're at right now?
I'm not sure, man. I would want to tell you the simplest answer is it's something God did, but because I'm a serious, you know, I didn't want to be here in this area. I didn't want to be near my family of origin, and so, you know, when it came time for, you know, college level, I picked the furthest away that would have me, and I went there, and then, you know, moved to the other side, well, the other end of the country in New Orleans, and lived down there, and I wasn't ever planning on coming back. And now that I live here, raise a family here, you know, it's a pretty good spot to raise my kids and to be involved in a small community. It's weird though, being in Galesburg and you grow up, you know, Silver Street, and you're only 6 miles down the road, and now you're a Blue Bullet, and the fight song, personally, I think it just sucks compared to Galesburg, you know. But then you're in the community. When we were kids, there were like, you know, there was a lot of woes of the community, and like it's not a good place to, you know, be and all this, and nothing good happens here. And then I'm like, well, here I am.
Well, you know, I want to jump on that a little bit. I personally did the same thing.
Yeah.
I went out to Phoenix, Arizona, and swore up and down I would never come back. Found myself a couple things happen in life. I actually lost a couple family members. Someone very near and dear to me had a quadruple bypass. After that, I said, you know what, screw it. I'll wave my white flag. I'll come back because family is important to me. And I feel like I kind of stopped chasing my own personal dreams, whatever the heck that was, and ended up right back here in Galesburg. And yeah, there's a lot of people in the community and anywhere across the world that'll say, man, this place sucks, you know, and the odds are that person has never left. They've never got a chance to get out and explore. Like, and I say, you know, you could live in the beautiful beaches of Hawaii, and there's someone there that'll tell you this place sucks.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of like when you get out of bed, your feet hit the ground, it's what you make it, man. If you want this place to suck, it will. I promise you, you know.
Yeah, with me it was was the opposite of that a little bit, because I never thought I would come to the U.S. or live in a small town like Galesburg in Monmouth. Yeah, I've always lived in big cities. In Brazil, I lived in a city that's basically the size of Chicago, and then I went to Europe, lived in Lisbon, in Athens as well, and then I came to Monmouth, which is completely different than everything I had.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and then I'm here for 7 years already.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's been 7 years. Went to school, been working.
This feels like home now? Mom
Yeah, this feels like home. And
Have
my
you been
parents-
to the Prime Beef Festival?
Yes.
Oh, you are.
I love
you
it.
are from
See?
here.
You know?
The car show.
Yeah. So I always like to ask this of people, and maybe you can tell your story, Victor, but so you come here, I assume you knew like at least this much English.
Oh yeah, I didn't know any English. No.
So, yeah,
I didn't even know this much. I didn't know anything.
Let's talk about that experience. What did you find yourself?
So when I came here, I needed to learn English to go to school and play soccer and get a scholarship. So I came on a tourist visa at first in 2015. And I needed to learn English in 6 months because you can only stay here for 6 months when you have a tourist visa.
Okay.
And in 5 months and a half, I was able to pass the English test. So I was already speaking and understanding everything. So yeah, I was able to get a scholarship through the school, through Carl Sandburg, and played soccer and went to school. Transferred, got my bachelor, and now I'm an assistant soccer. I'm a head coach at Sandburg now. I used to be the assistant, but yeah.
See, that's awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
You talk about no matter where you're at, what you make it. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's many people who've been in your position. You sink or you swim, and I'm sure there's many people who sunk.
And I tell you this, when I first got here, I thought I wouldn't have any opportunities because it's a small town. But I mean, that was not what happened. I think I had more opportunities here than I would ever think.
That's probably
What I see is that a lot of people complain about the area, about the city, about the town, and they just don't do anything to make something different. They just complain. So that's what I see.
Right.
You know, a lot of people doing, complaining and not doing anything. So
I think it's very common. It's not only is it the easiest route. Look, it's the easiest route is to complain. it's also very contagious too. You know, depending who you're around. You're around these people who typically complain, and the odds are, if you're around it long enough, you're going to complain too. You're going to get convinced that this place sucks. And it's in all reality, the odds are it's probably you that suck. You know, it's
Are you
not
used
even
to
you.
small towns? Are you used to that?
I think in terms of it's been most of my life. You know, the biggest town I ever lived in was New Orleans, and that was my biggest time in the big city. But even there, the area I lived, you didn't travel outside of it. It was its own small town within the big city. You know, you saw the same people every day. I mean, it's odd to say your small town encompassed Bourbon Street. I get that. But, you know, I mean, I worked and lived down there. I didn't have a car, so that 14 square blocks was where I stayed. Yeah, and you know, now my work as a hospice chaplain, you know, you think Monmouth is a small town, but there's way smaller. And so all the little places that you blink and you're past them, you know, I get to visit people there, and I think there is a lot of opportunity here, a lot of opportunity that I never saw, and and then the bitching quality is pretty universal. It's everywhere you go because it's easy to do, like you say.
Yeah, it's way easy to complain than to actually get up your butt and do something, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
and it takes hard work, and it also takes a fear of failing, you know, or looking, looking dumb or looking bad, or you're telling your friends you're going to do something. I mean, I remember when I moved to Arizona, and I found myself moving back. I remember there was like a little bit of my ego that was bruised. Like, I'm back in this town. Everyone thinks I didn't make it, or whatever, you know. And for whatever reason that I did move back, I moved back because, you know, family, and I had lost some family members and almost lost another one that was so important to me that I said, hey, I want to move back, you know. But it was all in my own head that I think, like, people, maybe some were thinking stuff. It doesn't matter if they were or not, you know. It's here I am. And there's plenty of opportunity around, whether, you know, whatever you're going to make it, right?
Yeah.
So
everything comes about learning from people, like we've always talked. If there's people for you to learn from, you have opportunities, right?
you're tuned in to the Talk About It podcast. I'm Lauren Fulmer.
I'm Victor Dantas.
And we're here to talk about it. Each week, we're going to have a guest come in, talk about it, tell their story, and really just hope to have some fun and bring some positive energy your way.
Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you know when's the next episode, and I see you guys in the next episode.
Talk About It podcast.